Mayor Plato, a very good morning and thanks so much for your time. You're calling for more public order policing units to be deployed to help deal with the situation. Is that really the only solution at the moment?
Maybe not, but we see a spike in land invasions. It's about between 10 to 15 invasions on various pockets of land across the city of Cape Town. And our law enforcement officers are not enough to deal with the spike in land invasions. And most of the land invaded is meant for housing purposes. And it means those people waiting patiently for their housing opportunity will not see their houses built on that land. And that is why we call on the National Commissioner of Police to assist with the deployment of more POPs units in Cape Town.
Well, surely, Mayor, the greater issue here is why are people resorting to land invasions in the first place? I mean, shouldn't the solution lie in looking at how you can provide proper housing, more housing for those in need? And also, if you just heard the story that we ran a couple of minutes ago about Victoria Mkenge, a housing project, and one resident saying that the land invasions are sort of, that the city is actually delaying in issuing title deeds as well. So surely there must be, a look at solutions to the actual problem here.
We do have housing projects in the pipeline and ongoing. We build houses. We build thousands of houses. Look, people need to understand the point is we can only build houses what our budget allow us to build. And no one can build 20, 30,000 houses in one financial year. It doesn't work like that. But yes, you are quite correct. We need to build many, many more houses. But we would love to build more houses. You must remember the municipalities act as an agency of national government, the National Department of Housing, and they provide the bulk of the housing budget for municipalities. And what we receive, that is the only amount of units we can provide in one financial year's time. But yes, we need to think smarter with regard to housing development. But at the end of the day, it's important for us to make it known to the public which pockets of land is meant for housing in the medium term, the short term, medium term, and longer term, for the public to be aware of it. And in Cape Town, the adjacent communities around a specific housing land is well aware of what is going to happen with that piece of land. And that's why we also ask the public to assist us to protect the land, because it is meant for them after all.
Well, I think, Mayor, the other concern around land invasions in the city is what's being done for those who have to resort to this. What plan is being made to keep them safe and keep them under some sort of shelter, and also the treatment of those who occupy this land illegally, yes, but just how they're treated in terms of getting them out of there. But where do you send them? What plan are you making for them at the end of the day while they wait for houses too?
The point is, where did they stay yesterday? They stayed somewhere. They stay in shelter, even if the shelter is a shack structure. But what you see in Cape Town is a criminality issue as well. The fact is that all these land invasions is well planned. It's well orchestrated politically in many, many ways, politically planned and implicated and that sort of thing. And the point is, we also find that the pockets of the sites, the land gets sold to the people, and people claim to be poor and that sort of thing and to be disadvantaged. But if you're looking at most of the invasions in Cape Town, the disadvantaged people pay for that site, pay for their land. They don't just go and stay on a site and that sort of thing. They're up-commanded to do that, and plots get sold between 1,500 to 4,500 rand a site, and they pay for it. And the people, the planners, the people orchestrated this. They walk away with hundreds of thousands of rands. And that is what I talked to the police about some days ago, to say the police with their intelligence forces needs to zoom into this, needs to assist the city. We need to get at those that are selling the land and that are throwing the house.
And have your investigation shown that there are some people who are profiting illegally from this? You have proper proof of that? Okay, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
You've also been accused of sort of being misleading in terms of what kind of support you have for dealing with land invasions, and this goes back to your letter titled "Land Invasions Undermine Housing Programs," and you know, you've been accused of aiming or warning and enlisting the help of well-off residents against black invaders, and
no, that is absolutely nonsense. My letter didn't state black invaders and that sort of thing. I was talking in general across the board. I think people need to be very careful. If one want to deal with a specific issue, people resort to race, and they resort to the black and non-black and white issues and that sort of thing. That is, in this case, in this instance, that is absolutely nonsense. The point is, land invasions you find across the board and that sort of thing. And I am addressing the orchestrated issue, the orchestrated factor of this, of people that use the black issue to get what they want, even if it is illegally and that sort of thing. And we need to guard against that as well. And that is what the article was identifying and talking about.
And back to just your call for more public order policing, and again to how, you know, those who are cleared or those who do sort of take illegal occupation of pieces of land, how they are treated afterwards. When it comes to asking for more policing support, what is your actual aim? Is it to get at those who you say are illegally profiting from this, or is it to sort of muscle in on those who it seems have no other choice but to try and settle on a piece of land that actually doesn't belong to them?
It is both. No one must have the right to say a piece of land belongs to government or even belong to a private entity. I have the right, because I'm a South African citizen, to take that land, to take it forcefully, and no one must do anything about it. We cannot want to build a city or a country like that. There's laws in place. All of us need to respect the laws. The issue is really also to protect land for those that are waiting 10 years, 15 years, 20 years on the housing waiting list for their site. You must remember, from the day you plan a housing development and from the day you implement and you go on site, it's anything between 1 to up to 5 to 6 to 7 years. And anything can happen within that time span of 1 to 7 years. At the end of the day, you're saying to people, if you unlawfully moving onto land, you actually deprive a person that is legally entitled for a site and for a house. You deprive them from the housing opportunity. And that is what the City of Cape Town is guarding against. But also, the inhuman, the issue you raise about how we treat people. You need to remember, the moment we try and touch people and to get them off the site, they resort to violence. They throw the police with stones. They even use live ammunition to shoot at the police. And the moment the police, Metro Police, law enforcement shoot back and act back, it gets regarded as we act in an inhuman kind of a manner.
Well, Mr. Mesh, I think there are various sides to that story, and unless you're on the scene, you actually can't say who was in the right and who was in the wrong. And I understand what you were saying, but surely and hopefully we will not see scenes like we did a couple of months ago where a naked man was dragged from his home, whether it was legal or illegal.
Absolutely, no. I fully agree with you. But at the end of the day, what I've said before, and I want to repeat myself, we don't condone things like that to happen. But the naked man was naked before, and our videos show that very clearly.
All right. And are you confident that you're engaging with the right people when it comes to actually getting to the real nub of this problem? Is that people just don't have homes, and you need to provide, and you need to provide quickly?
Look, you need to understand one thing. The City of Cape Town is a growing city. More and more people move to the City of Cape Town for better services and that sort of thing, and for a better life, better opportunities. The point is, we do not have the budget readily available to looking after the needs of all of those that are flocking in droves to the City of Cape Town, unfortunately.
Thanks very much, Cape Town Mayor Dan Plato.